this is a best practice that you can think about if you have a lot of quality issues. So let's say you for some reason you opened up the box that, from reserve, you thought everything was okay at time of receiving, and then you put it away in reserve. And then for replenishment, you moved the product from reserve to active, right? You open up and there are quality issues. And then even during picking, they pick the product and they find some defective products or, torn apparel or something like that. So you realize, oh my God, I got to have a good quality process. And even before, because what happens is, typically, as a shipment hits your receiving dock, you're going to, receive the shipment. You'll, sort the product by PO, sort the product by SKU, and then you'll do the receiving process, and then you will do a verification of the shipment. So a verification of the shipment basically says, hey, at this point, I'm done verification. That means I completely received my shipment and everything is good. And as soon as the verification is complete, then the vendor gets paid. So basically, from the DC perspective, you're saying, hey, the shipment looks great, I'm good with everything, and typically, right? So once you say the shipment is verified, then the vendor gets paid. The money is released to the vendor, and the vendor gets paid. And later, if you find issues, then you have to absorb the cost of the defective product. So you, let's say if you see that happening a lot, then you would want to institute a quality process, right? And there are two types of, typically quality process. I mean, there is something like a quality inspection and something like a quality audit. The quality inspection is relatively simple. Actually, this is another benefit of having a ASN. And when you have a ASN, you can set up quality inspection percentage. You can say, hey, and whenever this shipment is from this vendor, I want to do 10% quality inspection, or I want to do 5% quality inspection, or I want to do 0% because this vendor has been fantastic. They do so well. Everything is so good. I don't want to waste any time inspecting that product. Or you could say, hey, 50% quality inspection because let's say, that's one of the rare vendors, or they handle or they supply you with some rare SKUs that nobody else gives, but still the quality is not so good. So you want to, inspect that. So you could do that pretty much off of any shipment data that's available at the header level, right? And then the other quality is this something called quality audit. It's really more from a manufacturing perspective, and most of the time the manufacturers do it because any manufacturing plant wouldn't be complete if they don't have a pretty good quality audit process. So that involves setting up a sample and then having some kind of an inspection criteria, audit criteria for that sample, and then running that audit criteria against the sample. Sample could be 10 units or 100 units or 1,000 units, and then you're sampling, measuring the quality. It could be measurement, it could be diameter, whatever it is. Measuring and defining what a good sample looks like, and then comparing and all that, and then figuring that out. But typically that's for a manufacturing setup, like a machinery, ball bearing manufacturing, something like that, right? So I've seen quality inspection most widely used in a distribution setting. So that's something to think about. I mean, if you're having a lot of quality issues, if you find products that are defective or not exactly in the condition that the vendor claimed it was shipped, it's to seriously think about instituting a quality inspection process, especially if you find a lot of at the time of replenishment or at the time of product hitting your bin locations, picking locations, active locations. If you find a lot of issues, then you could institute this quality inspection process, define percentage of inventory that needs to be inspected. And then you finish your quality inspection process. If you catch it before verifying the shipment, then you can give that to the vendor and say, hey, you said you shipped 100. We did receive 100, but out of the 100, 10 were bad. So we cannot, we got to pay only for 90 units. We are not going to pay for 100 units, right? And all that you can do because you haven't verified your shipment yet. But once you verify the shipment, the vendor gets paid, then you don't have your negotiating leverage is less. Right? I mean, if you're buying repeatedly from the same vendor, you could still go back and say, have a good conversation and, work with them. Hopefully they'll work with you. But, that's something to, keep in mind. So it's good to do all these checks before verifying the shipment. So that way, you can pay only for the good products and you don't have to pay for the defective products. And sometimes you can even issue chargebacks to the vendor because you spend so much time, all this labor is wasted. So that's something to think about. If you have a lot of quality issues, that's another best practice to think about and bring up with your implementation partners, about implementing this and setting this up and how to take advantage of this. So please share your thoughts. Would love to, hear your comments, and thank you for watching.